This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Burgamy.
All right, good to see you again. Like the man said, Ray DeLesio, Kenny Burgamy with you for the next 30 minutes, quality minutes at that. And it all begins with something we call the rundown.
Yes, sir. Off we go. Coming up, they say time heals all wounds. Try telling that to pecan growers affected by Hurricane Michael back in 2018. The scars still visible. You'll hear from one producer on the work it took to restore millions of dollars that were lost. Just when you thought the Buford corn maze could not get any better, well, it did. Why it's consistently ranked amongst the top corn mazes in the country, and how the planning and planting of this year's maize was different from years past.
Plus, what do we have here? Well, a little cornbread, oh my, not one, but two different chili recipes. You betcha, another tasty episode of Meals from the Field coming your way, and it all starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
4 years later, and the Georgia pecan industry is still recovering from Hurricane Michael.
Yeah, the Monitor's John Holcomb spoke to one producer in Crisp County about the year since that horrendous storm and gives some insight into how even now its impacts can still be seen.
It's been just over 4 years since Hurricane Michael made its way through Georgia, causing more than $2.5 billion in damage to the state's agricultural sector alone. One of the hardest hit ag sectors was the pecan industry, as growers throughout the state saw losses of more than $500 million. One producer that knows just what kind of an impact the storm had on his orchard is Greg Legier, a pecan producer in Crisp County that had extensive damage and ended up losing more than 1,000 trees, something he describes as devastating, but says they had no choice but to get to work to get things back in order.
We started re-strategizing our plan, and we were intending on hedging some of these trees at some point, and that were high density planted. And when we had the damage to get our grid back to our orchard, we started spading and transplanting trees instead of hedging to get the structure back to the grove. And this is year 5 now, I think, and we're finally turning the corner on our production and bringing it back in another direction in a productive manner.
As you can see from these pictures and video Legier took just days after the storm, they certainly had their work cut out for them as they cleaned up the orchard and transplanted trees around the clock. But as you can tell, after years of hard work, they finally got their orchard back to some sort of normalcy.
It's a process of several years because the window of opportunity to transplant is very short when you start talking about moving as many trees as we had to move. So it was a 2 to 3 year process to eventually restructure the grove, and we sacrificed some young trees and moved them around and just replanted that area so that in a sense we had some of the same age group trees for the process of spraying and fertilizing program and irrigation program. All that is a big part of the restructure and how you place trees around.
However, physical damage wasn't the only thing Hurricane Michael caused, as the storm created a disruption in the alternate bearing cycle, to which now nearly the entire state's pecan production comes in at one time.
What happened is hurricane comes through, wipes out the crop, but also destroys the trees, the fruiting branches on those trees. And before that, the west part of Georgia and the east side of Georgia had been on alternating cycles, and nut trees alternate instinctively anyway. And so the hurricane basically reset the entire state crop and put us on the same cycle. But when it has that kind of damage, it sets the crop into a pretty severe alternate bearing cycle. So Hurricane Michael was 18, we had virtually nothing in 19, and then in 2020 had a huge crop.
According to the American Pecan Council, not only have Georgia pecan growers recovered their orchards from Hurricane Michael, they've also planted 12,000 more trees. Reporting in Cordele for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Well, meantime, it's official. Registration now open for the 2023 American Farm Bureau Convention, January 6th through the 11th on the island of Puerto Rico and San Juan. This, of course, the first AFBF convention held outside the mainland since Hawaii in 2012. Nikki Jones, Director of Events and Marketing for IDAG, says in addition to hosting world-class speakers and educators on ag-related topics, the convention will also offer members access to amazing island tours.
We are so excited to be able to bring our members some amazing island tours as well. You can choose from day trips such as on Saturday and Tuesday. Members can extend their stay as well to do post-convention multi-day tours anywhere from beaches to rainforest to Old San Juan. It's all very exciting, and you can find those as well on annualconvention.fb.org.
With autumn officially here, agritourism destinations around the state are in full swing, providing fun and affordable entertainment for the entire family. One of the more popular spots will be the Buford Corn Maze in Gwinnett County, which has consistently been voted one of the top corn mazes in the entire country. Damon Jones has more.
With those hot summer temperatures now a thing of the past, it's a perfect time for a little outdoor fun with the family. And one of the hot spots is sure to be the Buford Corn Maze, where visitors can enjoy a little bit of everything farm-related.
We sell an experience here, so we're giving people that fall farm experience, that they get to go through a corn maze, they get to ride a hayride, they get to see animals. You know, we have jumping pillows, we have all kinds of fair food, duck races, you know, barnyard basketball, just about anything you can think of that's farm related, we have it here. Then the other big attraction that just opened this weekend is our haunted forest.
There have been a few changes to this year's corn maze, from the planting of it to the corn itself. However, they're all modifications that will only enhance the visitor's experience.
This year, for the first time, they have this super high-tech planter. They actually planted the maze in. So the design is already there once they plant it. And then we've started using a different type of corn last year that Pioneer gave us, the one that's to try. It was a tropical corn, and it is just perfect for corn mazes. It grows to about 13 feet high. It's very bushy. It's got a really strong stalk, so it's everything you're looking for in a corn maze.
Since opening their gates nearly 15 years ago, this passion project has seen attendance grow exponentially as this mostly suburban community has really embraced it.
Obviously, you need people. It's not such a big deal to walk through a cornfield in Illinois. It's a much bigger deal in Gwinnett County. And so it's just really grown. We only had 3,400 people 14 years ago in our first year, and we've grown every year to almost 80,000 now every year. So it's been a popular attraction here in this area.
And for good reason, as this operation has been named one of the top 35 corn mazes in America for the past 3 years. Not only do visitors have a variety of activities to choose from, but they also gain an appreciation for the rural lifestyle.
We all take tremendous pride in making everybody's experience the best it can possibly be. And we want the urban community, which here in Gwinnett County is very much urban, we want them to feel good about agriculture and the agricultural roots. And agriculture is so important to America. I mean, it's the #1 industry in Georgia and in most states. And I think it's been great for so many people to be able to do that. And we're excited. We really love it. We love making families happy and seeing the little kids being so happy. And so that's all part of it.
With its unique location just outside the bustling city of Atlanta, this attraction welcomes in people from all different backgrounds and allows them to enjoy a little taste of life on the farm.
We really enjoy that. I always say if you could walk around our park on an October day with all the diversity that's here, you think there's not that big of a divide in America. And we all want the same things. We want to be happy, we want our families to be happy, and this is a good way to do that.
Reporting from Gwinnett County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Question for you. Which type of chili do you prefer? Traditional or non-traditional? Not sure what the difference is? Ray and Marcia will be along to demonstrate so you can see for yourself. Meals from the Field when the Farm Monitor continues.
Well, you know, nothing speaks to me about the fall season like a good hot bowl of chili. I don't care if it's meatless chili, beanless chili, chicken chili, any kind of chili I absolutely love in the fall. And that is our focus today on Meals from the Field. Welcome everybody to another edition of Meals from the Field. Joining me as always, our good friend, everybody's good friend, Marcia Crowley. Good to see you again, Marcia.
Good to see you, Ray.
When you told me we were doing chili, I was like, yes.
I know, I love
Especially
chili.
in November.
I love it. I love chili.
So what do we got today?
Okay, I'm going to start with the non-traditional chili. This is a fall chili, actually.
Okay.
More, not as traditional. This is 3 cups of onions that I've already sauteed with garlic in there. I'm going to add to that 6 cups of cubed butternut squash.
Don't question it. I know, butternut.
It is good.
Butternut squash and chili. You're like, wait, what?
And you can buy the butternut squash already cubed up, but it's going to be at least 5 times more expensive than if you hassle with it. All right, I'm going to add to that. Then I've already, let me know, these are the spices. Chili powder, salt, and cayenne pepper. So you're going to stir that around, and we're doing, in the sense of time, we're doing this in a shortcut, but you would cook this for about 5 minutes. But just let the butternut squash get a little bit limp.
Butternut Sasquatch? Is that what you're
Sasquatch,
trying to say?
that's what I'm trying to say. And I've already browned this, and this is 1.5 pounds of chicken apple sausage. And there are several sausage companies from Georgia that sell this, so not to call out anybody. Stir that around a little bit. And here again, essence of time. You're going to let that cook a minute or 2. Then you're going to add 4 cups of chicken broth.
Dumb question, since it is deer season. I believe it's deer season. Don't quote me. Can you put deer meat in there, like deer sausage?
Sure you could.
Okay.
You could actually put it in either one of these recipes that we're going to do. So that was 4 cups of chicken broth. Here's the other fall ingredient. 3 chopped, cubed, chopped, however you want to do it. And this is a Granny Smith apple, which is kind of tart, it was perfect for this chili. You're going to stir that in. And then you're going to add 1 can of pinto beans. And pardon the can, but there it is. You're going to let this simmer for about 30, 40 minutes. It makes a lot. And like I said, it's different, but it's really, really good.
So the meat is actually the sausage?
The sausage, yes.
You don't put ground beef in there. The meat is the sausage. Okay, the sausage is the meat. Okay.
Yep. All right, let me move some of this out of the way. All right, this is your more traditional classic chili. This is a pound of ground beef, onion, and garlic that I've already done in there. You're going to add to that the spices, which are chili powder, sage, cumin, and salt. And you can, I know that looks like a lot of chili powder, you can certainly adjust to your flavors, to your taste. And this is a teaspoon of hot sauce.
You always worry me with that elbow.
I know, I'm going to hit you one day, believe it or not. All right, this is a can of undrained kidney beans, dark or light, it doesn't matter. A can of diced tomatoes, it doesn't matter what kind, these just happen to be fire roasted. And you're going to let this simmer for 30, 40, however long you want to make it simmer. You can put it in the crock pot if you wanted to. Okay, last but not least, you got to have cornbread with your chili.
Absolutely.
So this is a cup of fine ground, stone ground cornmeal, a cup of regular flour. We're going to mix the wet ingredients, which are 2 eggs, a cup of whipping cream, which is kind of different. I'm going to stir this into the cornmeal mixture. And this batter will be very, very thick. Then you're going to add a 1/4 cup of pimentos. That's optional. You could also add some jalapeno peppers if you wanted to.
Good.
And a cup of whole kernel corn. White, yellow, doesn't matter. And like I said, you stir this up. No, don't overmix it, but it will make 12 corn muffins, or do it in a frying pan, cast iron skillet.
Oh, okay.
Bake at $3.25 for like 50 minutes. It's good cornbread, believe it or not. You make it ahead, it'll keep in your fridge for up to 3 days. And there you have your chili meal with cornbread.
You have a cornucopia of chili, a chili buffet, whatever
Yeah.
your likings may be. And of course, folks, you can make all this at home in your kitchen or take it on the road if you have a tailgate to go to. You can find all the recipes by logging on to farm-monitor.com. Go up to the top, click on the recipe section. Everything is there for you in complete detail. Marcia continues to send us that stuff, and we continue to get a lot of good feedback.
Good.
See what I did there? Feedback? Yeah,
Got
like
it.
that. All
I
right,
like
so
that.
Anyway, Marcia, as always, good to see you. Can't wait to try this chili at home. Can't wait to try it now when we stop taping.
Right.
So we will see you guys next month as well.
Ray, Marcia, thank you so much. Now, just a reminder, if you missed any part of this month's Meals from the Field or other stories on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety on our YouTube channel. That is the Farm Monitor. Once there, you can browse the archive of stories dating back as far as 2009. However, don't stop there. Keep clicking and like the Farm Monitor Facebook page. Also, if you have a story idea or if you want to leave us a comment or suggestion, feel free to send us a message either on Facebook or the address on your screen. That is news@farm-monitor.com. So, are you having issues with your Japanese maples? Maybe the colors aren't exactly what you hoped for. Well, those little branches at the bottom there could be the issue. Extension specialist Paul Pugliese on what the proper steps to get rid of them are. That is next when the Farm Monitor continues.
Hi, Paul Pugliese with the University of Georgia here. Today we're at Roselawn Museum in Cartersville, Georgia, next to a busy street, so I apologize for the traffic here. But today we're going to look at a Japanese maple that has an interesting problem. If you look at the original type of Japanese maple here, this is looks like a blood-good Japanese maple that has a dark red, purplish leaf color. It will retain that color all year long. But if you look down beside me, next to the base of this tree, we have some root suckers that are coming out. And if you look at it very closely, it's a totally different color. It has a lighter green color to the leaves, a slightly different leaf shape, coming out of the same tree. And so this is a question that we get a lot of calls about. Sometimes people will let these suckers grow, and it'll look like you have two different types of trees growing in the same spot, which is really weird, right? And so this is something that is actually a very common problem, and it has to do with how this tree was propagated at the nursery. In fact, a lot of our ornamental trees and even fruit trees are grafted. And the reason why we graft them is to get a certain characteristic. We take a cutting from a branch just like this, and we'll want to grow that out to replicate certain traits. There's certain traits that we like to clone in this case. It could be a certain leaf color, maybe a type of Japanese maple that's a weeping form Japanese maple. Some are more compact as far as the growth and slower growing or dwarf type cultivars. And so those are characteristics that we like to have, especially for ornamental characteristics in a landscape. In fruit trees, of course, we do the same thing. We graft certain fruit trees. For example, like a Red Delicious apple. Every Red Delicious that you buy at the grocery store is a clone from a cutting of the original Red Delicious apple tree. And so they're all genetically identical. And to do that, one of the best ways to clone that tree is to graft it or take a cutting and graft it onto a rootstock of another tree in the same family. And so we're taking another Japanese maple in this case that's maybe a little bit more vigorous as far as the root system, and it's gonna, basically take that cutting, we call that the scion cutting, and we're gonna graft that and piece it together, and it will heal right at that graft wound and form a new tree, basically. So sometimes things will go wrong with that graft that occurs. They're not always 100% compatible. Again, some may grow faster than others depending on the rootstock or the seedling that was used for the rootstock. And so just like an organ transplant, sometimes you get a rejection of that transplant. And so things can go wrong. And in some cases, a sign of that maybe going wrong is these root suckers that start coming out near the base. Another thing that we see sometimes is lawn mowers might come in and, if you get too close to the base of this tree, you might injure it or cut it with a lawnmower or a weed trimmer. And that wound is enough to initiate buds, and sometimes you'll get some sprouts or water sprouts that'll come out as a result of that. So again, it could be an indication of a wound that occurred, okay? So these are all things that may be a symptom of another type of problem, but it has a fairly easy fix. Obviously, we don't want to let this go too long. If this continues to grow, it's going to take over, and you're going to have a weird looking tree with two different colors of leaves. In the case of a fruit tree, we would actually get a whole different fruit tree that may not have a desirable fruit that we like. And so, you may have a red delicious apple tree with something else on the bottom, maybe a Granny Smith or something entirely different. So again, you want to get rid of these root suckers. Whenever you see these, the sooner you can catch it, the better. Come in and prune those as close to the stem as possible and get rid of those suckers. We'll clean this up a little bit. And when we do that, we've now kept this tree, the original form of this tree. And there's a bunch of little suckers trying to come out here, so we want to get rid of all those and clean it up really good. And we've now fixed our problem here. It's really that easy. Again, you don't want to let it go too long because it could actually kill the original tree or outgrow it and outcompete it. So that's something you want to catch early. And again, the most important thing is to avoid wounding that tree or causing any damage. Don't bump the trunk of that tree, especially below the graft union. You don't want to hit that with a weed eater or a lawnmower. Make sure you have plenty of mulch around that tree to protect it from any injuries like that. And again, if the top ever happens to die on the tree, sometimes that happens and the rootstock is still alive, you don't want to keep that rootstock. It's probably not going to be something you want to keep. It's going to be a totally different type of Japanese maple or whatever tree it is that we're looking at in that situation. So if you have any other questions about your trees and your landscape or this type of an issue, feel free to call your local county extension office at 1-800-ASK-UGA1 or go to our website at ugaextension.com and continue to follow us on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Paul, thanks so much, sir, and thank you for spending your precious time with us.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.